You can open up the static folder to follow along with this project. We're going to talk about static methods and static fields and the differences between those two. Now, we've used static methods and we've used instance methods, and we're going to talk about the distinction between the two. So when you see this static keyword there, don't get so worried, because you know this gets long. The list of keywords here can get very, very long, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Static is one of those things we can explain quite nicely, and you can use them within your fields and in your method calls. We'll talk about methods first. So we have a static method. Say hello. Alright, so all it does is it console.writeLine hello back. It just says hello back, but it's static. It's not an instance method. Instance methods don't have that static, and we need to create an instance in order to work with them. So we've been doing that quite a lot when we're working, creating instances of things. And that's normally how you just derive a class. As you can see here, class 1 C3 equals new class 1. This is creating an instance of this class in this variable C3. So that's normal. Well, this is not instantiating a class, not creating an instance. It's actually using that static method, and it just calls it directly. So we've already started to do that when we're dealing with the main function here. We never instantiate anything when we work with main. Not at all. And we also don't do that when we work with console.writeLine. Didn't happen. Well, console is actually a part of system. And we don't actually do anything like this. Now it lets us, you saw the IntelliSense there, you saw that code hinting there. Well, it did let us do this, but this is not going to work because console won't allow us to do this because writeLine is a static method. So if we did something like this, is going to give us an error. We'll debug. Well, there we go. It's inaccessible due to its protection level. Now, we've seen that before. So the protection level isn't going to let us do that because this was actually declared static. Whoever developed that, whoever decided that, said, hey, I want to make this static. I want people who use this class to be able to use it, use this method without actually having to instantiate a class. Well, that static keyword is in place there, and you can see it says it right here, static member. Static member system.console.writeLine. Well, we have to use it like this. You have to. That's the deal. So when you want your classes to work a certain way, when you want your methods or fields to work a certain way, you use the static keyword. Then you're just forcing the issue. So this won't work. We have to get rid of that. Hopefully that's clear. Instantiate a class, use instance methods and fields. Use static, then you're going to be using static methods and fields. So we'll get rid of all of that. Also the main, like I said, this is going to be static, so we don't have to instantiate anything. Just keep that in mind. So if we were to run this, we could just run this. And it says hello back this number of times. Hello first and then hello back. Well, we go ahead and loop this 10 times. And it just says class1.sayHello. And that's going to be a static method, not returning anything. Alright, we can further talk about other things as well. We're going to talk about static fields as well. That's very interesting. It does have different functionality, but it is very interesting and helpful if that's what you need to do. But first, before we do that, we're going to change this to a non-static method, an instance method. Now when we do that, we're going to have to slide down here and instantiate a class. And as a matter of fact, let's take a peek here. All right. And we'll just do new class 1. Now we'll debug. Build errors. Non-static field. We can't do that. Trying to reference a non-static field. So we have to actually change that to c.sayHello. See what happens. There we go. Back in business. So you can see the difference in how you have to do that. We'll leave things the way they were, so you can work with this as you need to, as we were doing with the static in place.